Hello and welcome to BioFit with Us, episode 5. Team, how are we?
Good. Season 2, episode
Pixelated.
5.
Season
Season
2.
2, episode 5. Yeah. Because it's technically episode 70, but who fucking knows it is? 71, sorry. Anyway, enough about what episode we're on. I'm fine. Shannon, how are you? You're looking fresher. Your nose pixelated as 5 minutes ago.
Woohoo! I'm good. I'm having a week off and I'm enjoying croissants like there's no tomorrow.
Excellent. Do you want to talk about the weekend?
No.
Fair enough. Kyle, do you want to talk about the weekend?
Weekend was alright, mate. We went to the powerlifting competition. Not going to lie, it probably wasn't the funnest experience because we're literally in with all of the big boys and girls because it was the last qualifier for nationals and they all came out in force. So there was a few people warming up with on my absolute best day, what I would be like squatting. They were warming up with, which kind of was a bit disheartening considering. Um, Shannon did that on a point, and I'll speak for her here. I think at times they're like I very much enjoy those type of competitions and stuff because there is a good atmosphere. But I think there was a bit of tension on this one because it was the last qualifier. There was a lot riding on it, but they also had a lot of teams. It was like don't know if you ever seen the Karate Kid, like, but it was like Cobra Kai and all of that, where you see all the squads and there's multiple people for the same kind of. I know technically we've got biofitness, but we're not actually a powerlifting institute as such. But I was going to say you just see them all kind of racking in and kind of taking their own space up and stuff, which was quite difficult to work in and about. But like I am extremely proud of the guys. There was all of them came in and smashed it and hit PBs. Shannon included, albeit she's not giving herself the credit for it. But yeah, it was
I had a shrug PB.
What, BB?
A shrug.
Shrug PB.
So for them to listen, and again, because Shannon's not in a place where she's ready to talk about it, Shannon
One day.
Shannon had a bit of a meltdown. There was a lot of things happening in the lead up to the competition, and when it came to the actual hard competition, she really didn't want to be there. And when it came to her deadlift, the deadlifts were flying. They're the fastest I've ever seen her move some of the deadlifts, but she just decided in her head that she was going to do a completely different movement that nobody's ever seen her do at the top because she had too much anxiety. So at the top of a deadlift, as much as she was saying that fours should have counted, I actually probably say that Shannon's maybe should have counted for the third one anyway. But she just started doing some mad shrug thing at the top of her deadlift. So instead of just standing up nice and tall, she just started literally bending her arms and shrugging the bar at the top. And I was like, I was standing at the side going, what is she doing here? I have no idea why she done the hard part and then just decided to shrug.
So because of that shrug, did it not get counted?
No, because she decided in her shrugging motion that she was going to allow the bar to go down first, then up. Now she thinks she got it caught in her shorts, so she was trying to do that. But then the third one, I was like, I've never seen her do that before, but you know what? On the third one, she'll not do that again. Did she do it on the third one?
I did it. But I'm really strong because like that was 130 and I don't know boys that can shrug that much. So in my opinion, I'm a beast.
That's impressive. Yeah, you're going to have big, massive traps, big rhino
I've
neck.
gotten loads of compliments on my traps over the years, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just strong.
Well, the fact that you were able to deadlift it and shrug it just goes to show that you can fucking deadlift it without shrugging it.
Gary,
Yeah.
Gary, I'm raging because I actually like say raging. Like Sharon put in some amount of training as long as she's been, but like on the day it just wasn't meant to be. But the fact that like 130, I was kind of hoping she would go to 140, 150. But because the second attempt I couldn't do that on the third attempt. Well I could, but it would just be fucking madness. But yeah, I was going to say it's the fact that she's got it in her, she just didn't do it the way she wanted to on the day.
Aye, just a bit of a brain fart.
It was a brain fart. My brain shot down.
That happens to the best of us, Shannon. Next time, easy peasy, 140.
Let's just do a friendship competition where no one's mean.
Um,
Just mean to ourselves.
Yeah, just ourselves and no mean people allowed.
I guess I'll not be going then.
No, you're not allowed to be there. We'll zoom you in.
Right, I'm going to come right out and say this morning. I fucking hate training in the morning.
Amen.
I hate training in the morning. I trained this morning. I got up at 6. I was left the house at, I say I got up at 6. My alarm went off at 6. I never got up to 20 past 6. I left the house at quarter to 7. I had no caffeine in my system. I had barely had any water when I got up as well. And I had a Rice Krispie Squares bar on the way to the gym, and I just felt so flat. There was no pump, there was no drive to be there. Don't get me wrong, the gym was dead. I got on everything that I needed to get on. It was great, but I just don't enjoy training in the morning. It's not for me.
Mm. Controversial, mate. I'm going to say the opposite. I spent a year forcing it because it's the only time that I could. I actually now much prefer training in the morning than I do in the evening. I couldn't go back to training evening time. I can't. I don't think I could train past 4 or 5 o'clock now. Occasionally do it on like a Friday, and to be fair, it's the novelty of it's all right. And then I actually do like the energy in the gym. It's a wee bit better, and you've had some food in you. But I don't think from a mental standpoint that I could go back to it because I quite enjoy
Yeah.
getting it done first thing in the morning and not have to think about it. The thing you need to adapt to though is like why I find it okay is you're finding right now if you're comparing your training quality to what it had been in kind of like later morning, afternoon, evening time, it's going to be worse. But when you get used to consistently training in the morning, like you know that you're not going to be as strong, but then the baseline becomes like you're aware of what you've done the week before because it was the same standards, so it was the same environment. So it is something that can be acquired, but I get what you're saying.
Aye. Just to be super clear as well, I also hate training in the evenings. I hate training at peak times. I am very lucky
You
that I
like
work.
training?
I was just going to say,
I
just hate training it.
I afternoon, see late morning, early afternoon. That's when I'm at peak. See when I've had breakfast, couple of coffees, or a can of Monster. 1 o'clock, boom. I absolutely love it. The only downside to that is for most people, most 9 to 5ers, they can't train at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But for me, as I said, I'm very, very lucky. I work in a gym. The gym's closed during those hours. I tend to not really have much going on in the afternoon time, so I can take a lunch break and I can get my training done. Obviously, I know for, as I said, the majority of people, that's not realistic. If I was to choose between morning and evening and that was my only time slots, it would be morning. I would have to force it until I conditioned myself to be used to it, to get used to it. I think training in the evenings, whilst you do have a couple of meals in your system, energy could questionably be a wee bit higher. I think just a long day at work completely drains you, completely drains most people. And if it's a public gym, peak times are horrendous to train in. Absolutely brutal, especially if it's like a pure gym or like the gym group if you're over in Scotland. It's just terrible. I don't know what the gyms over in Ireland are like kind of dinner time. What would you say, Kye? Were they the same? They're quite similar.
No, it's similar enough, mate. Yeah.
Aye, I would say get up, condition yourself to get used to training in the morning if you can. But afternoons for me, that's when I'm at my peak.
I'd be late evenings. I used to do late evenings, like 7 to 9. And
Oh
that used to be
fuck.
perfect for me because my gym would be dying out at that point.
How would you feel when you got home though? Would you be wired?
No, fast sleep. I'd sleep like a baby.
Really? I would be too wired. Right, I want to talk to you about something else as well. Sorry, that was just a wee quick tangent that I had to get off my
It's the
chest there.
Gary show.
It's just because it's a Gary show today, episode 5, Gary's episode. Um, I want to talk to you about the misuse of the term plant-based diet, right? Because I came across this yesterday, um, and when you hear the term plant-based diet, I'm going to ask you both. I don't want a fucking scientific in-depth answer, Kyle, just a simple answer. When you hear the term plant-based diet, what is your initial thought process like? What do you think of instantly when you hear that? Kyle first.
being honest, mate, I just think of that documentary, the one on Netflix. I can't remember what it was called, but remember when they took
Aye, aye,
the,
aye.
the bloods of the athletes and they were like, "Oh, this is what your blood looks like on a plant-based diet, and this is what your blood looks like when you eat meat, and it's all dirty." That's kind of what I think of straight away.
Fair enough. So predominantly, like don't eat meat essentially.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you think as well, Shannon.
Vegetarian, vegan, kind of.
Exactly. And I think that's vegan, like veganism and vegans using the term plant-based diet are what's actually skewed the real meaning behind plant-based diet. Because see, when you really think about it, see when you break it down, when I had a think about this yesterday, I'm on a plant-based diet,
Oh no,
right?
I'm not having it. I'm
Yeah,
no, well, no,
I'm
I'm
on a plant-based
not.
diet. The majority of my calories comes from plant-based foods. Now it's the term based, so the majority of my food is plant-based. Yes, I eat meat, but plant-based has been misused by vegans for too long. So when people hear the term plant-based diet, they feel like they can't eat meat. When you think about Japanese people, they're on a rice-based diet. Does that mean all they eat is rice? No. So the term plant-based doesn't mean that you can't eat meat. That's my point. Does that make sense?
It does make sense to me. But
Kyle,
I will still put it in with vegetarianism and veganism.
of course, because that's what it's been used, especially on social media. That's how it's been used. When people hear the term plant-based diet, they automatically think, well, that means I can't eat meat, when it's so far from the truth. Because when I look at my plate of dinner, I've got, let's say, half my plate of veggies, plant-based, quarter of my plate rice, plant-based, and then a quarter of my plate chicken. So the majority of my dinner is plant-based because it's a based diet, and then a wee bit of meat on top.
Kyle, go for it. I can see it ticking away in you.
Struggling
Let,
with it,
let,
man. I think I'll be honest. I think if we're trying to look at like, yeah, 100%. If but it's not interchangeable with vegan or vegetarian, and if that's the argument we're making, where should plant based diet be interchangeable, and what most people's connotations towards that is, yeah, 100%, it shouldn't be. And I do get what you're saying. I would struggle to think that it's ever going to catch on that you're going to call yourself a plant-based diet and AMD's ever going to get to the point where they know that the majority of stuff that you're having is rice and veg with some chicken in it. I think that's just fucking normal eating, if I'm being honest.
that is, but that's what I mean. That's why the term's been misused like so fucking much over the last few years, especially since veganism started to get really popular, especially after that Netflix documentary where they showed, was it cows being slaughtered and all that?
What was that called?
Um,
Doing my head in. I
I,
can't remember the
I,
name.
I cannot remember it for the life of me as well. But I just thought it was interesting that because when I think of plant-based diet, that's what I automatically go to as well. No meat, no dairy, just vegan, plant-based stuff. And then when it got explained, I'm like, fucking hell, it makes perfect sense.
Game changers, that's what it is. The game changers, isn't it?
The game changers. I fucking hate that term.
Uh,
Oh, it's such a game changer. Fuck
but
off.
it was sure they had Arnold Schwarzenegger and I think it was Jackie Chan pushing the kind of vegan products on you, but they have shares in vegan products. So I'm like, Arnold Schwarzenegger built his body with a large amount of anabolic steroids and like a healthy amount of protein. So I don't know why you can turn around now and go, oh yeah, do you know what? Have a meat free Monday. I'm like, mate, you didn't have a meat free Monday for the first 62 years of your life.
And you have to be
100%.
super, super careful with the vegan products. I actually came across this recently because at Run Club we have a vegetarian. So I was making protein balls already with just normal protein powder. And I was like, right, I'm going to have to adapt a wee bit here because obviously this individual can't have the protein balls. I was like, I don't want to exclude anyone. So went shopping anyway for some vegan protein or vegetarian friendly protein or anything like that. But the label at the front says 100% vegan, say. But if you actually flipped it on the back, it does say may have traces of like meat still. And I'm like, then you can't say you're 100% vegan friendly if you're saying you can have traces of it somewhere.
It's cross contamination. It's the same as gluten, I think, where it's like most oats are like gluten free, but the ones that are labelled gluten-free are made in factories where there's no other gluten, whereas the ones that aren't labelled gluten-free are made in factories where they might be beside barley or they might be beside something else that could be gluten. So it's probably the same with that product where whilst everything in it hasn't got meat, it might be in a factory that has meat and they're talking about cross-contamination because they have to.
Don't say it's 100% in my opinion.
Um,
Because
So
the
back.
vegetarian one didn't have that on the back. It was the vegan one in particular.
I think to probably add to the point to make it a bit clearer, I personally think everybody should have a large amount of plant-based stuff in their food. Whether that ever gets labelled a plant-based diet or not, I probably doubt it will, but I think with that you probably should have somewhere between, the reason that 5 portions of fruit and veg exists is actually because it's meant to be 7 to 8, and they thought that target would be too high for most normal people to hit in this side of the world. But I would say if we can look at getting minimum 5 portions of fruit and veg. Genuine question to both of you, actually. Do you get 5 portions of fruit and veg in per day?
Yep.
Shannon smokes a fucking mango vape and counts that as one of her 5 a day.
To be fair, that's I'm back on the blueberry sour raspberry train.
I don't know what I've done.
What of us? What of us?
Probably no helping my running, that's for sure.
I would argue, Gary, because before I faked, I couldn't run, but now I can.
Your vape propelled.
Yeah.
I,
See, smoking amber leaf. Nah, I couldn't run a pit. Smoking a vape, though. Oh.
I was in better shape when I drank alcohol. It must have been alcohol that got me in better shape. Yeah, no worries.
Look how frustrated he is.
So yes, I do get my 5 portions of fruit and veg per day. Do I get 7 to 8? Absolutely not.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm a veg more than fruit person, so mine would literally be around my dinner time. I'd bulk it out then, but throughout the day, probably not, if
See,
I'm honest.
See, on things that I've been wrong about in life, eating veg is one. I don't think I ate a single bit of veg until I was 28 years old, but since then I've probably tried to make it right and overcompensated. I probably do get somewhere between like 5 and 7 per day most days. Predominantly though from veg though. Like I just eat. I'm still not great. I am the laziest person when it comes to making food ever. So I'll literally make, like, for instance, it might just be pre-cooked chicken and half a bag of microwave rice, but I'll eat like a bag of tender stem broccoli or a bag of carrots separately to that, and I'll just snack on them. Like I don't ever really mix them on the plate. Like
I see, I'm all in. I'm like, put it all in the wok and get it all cooked together.
rock and roll, mate.
Walk and roll.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
If you're having a Sunday dinner, right, are you someone that eats individually across the plate? So you eat the spuds on its own, the veg on its own, and the meat on its own? Or are you someone that like mixes it all together on the plate?
Put it this way, I put mashed potato inside my Yorkshire puddings.
Adam does that, freaks me out a bit.
Gravy on top, get a few peas and carrots in there. Job's
Oh,
a good
no.
one.
Shannon, can I ask what you do?
This probably comes from my childhood, but I start with the meat first because that's what we were always told, to make sure you eat the meat. Then I make sure I eat my veggies, and then it's the spuds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2 ends of the spectrum.
They can't cross-contaminate. I don't like the texture.
Kye was going to be somewhere in the middle.
100%. Mate, I don't even have a fucking process. I'm just hungry and I just go, I'm having that. Get in
Aye.
there. Yeah,
Aye.
I'll knife at things, I'll fork at things. But then I also get, like, I make sure that if I eat the meat all at once, I'm like, well, that's a shite dinner now. Like, I need to have, like, I'll eat a bit of the meat and then I'll be like, right, cool, I'll have some of the Yorkshire pudding or I'll have some of the potatoes. They probably, because I'm a messy bastard, will, like, I'm not intentionally putting the mashed potato in the Yorkshire pudding, but I fucking tell you, they end up there. Yeah, then I'll make sure there's a wee bit of meat left to the end. And now I'm probably on that spectrum too. I'm not denying that, but I definitely don't go around systematically going, this is the order, this has to be eaten in. Doesn't happen.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you, Kye.
Now you make me feel weird.
Not at all.
Should
I'll
be
have
done.
a bit. I'll have
What
a bit
I
of
thought
everything.
was weird was people that cut up their meat and then start mixing the mash, and the veg all into one. So it's just like this slurp on the plate. I'm like, no, that is disgusting. Why would you eat like that?
I would give that a good shot. Yeah.
No.
Gary, I feel like this is the episode of Still Game where they've got the tea cakes and one of them's rolling up the balls and one of them to get the flat. For Shannon, there's a Scottish programme called Still Game as a comedy. Oh, have I lost you both? I'm gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gone.
Not me.
Bastard.
Right, you're back. You're back.
Right, doesn't matter. I'm moving on from Still Game. It's gone.
So basically, back to my initial point that started this fucking rigmarole. Plant-based diet. We all eat it. We all eat a plant-based diet because it's normal fucking eating. Don't be put off by the misuse of terms from. I don't want to say certain people because that makes me sound like I'm demonizing people, but don't be put off by the misuse of the term on social media, right? Plant-based doesn't necessarily mean you can't eat meat. It just means you eat like a normal human fucking being. Where you
Gary
get
for president.
I feel Gary was just going in two-footed in the vegetarians and the vegans.
no, I was trying my hardest not to. Right, I've got one more question since it is a Gary show. In your humble but mostly correct opinions, do you believe that sugar is addictive?
Well,
My faith.
go on, Shannon. I'll let you go first.
Do I think sugar's addictive? I'm going to be in the middle. Yeah and no. Like, I love a sweet treat. I'll not go a day without a sweet treat, but does that mean I'm addicted to it, or is it just something I enjoy and add in?
Do you believe it can become addictive?
I'm trying to think, do I know anyone that's superly like dependent on like sweets throughout the day?
So your heads went straight to sweets, right? We'll come back to
Yeah.
that. Kyle, do you think it's addictive?
I find it hard to park science in this one because fucking science says 100% it is. It's like literally on the top 10 things that produce a chemical response in your body. Sugar's up there ahead of some drugs. So there's no way that it can produce the response it does without it being addictive. But then looking at people around, like our brain's running glycogen, sugar. There's only two ways of replacing that. You either sleep or you replace it with what you're eating. So your body literally runs on it. It tastes good. You get a chemical response from it. If anybody tells me it's not addictive, then I'd say you're wrong. Really, that's what my answer would be.
So Kyle says yes. Yes, sugar's addictive. The reason I'm asking this, right, is Shannon, you went straight to sweets, right? Sweet
Yeah.
treats, chocolate, whatever it is, Haribo. I would argue against the sugar in those products being addictive. I would argue against the sugar. How do I word this? I would argue against that it's the sugar that's making you want those products because there's a lot more involved within those products than just sugar. If sugar's addictive, why the fuck are we not sitting with a spoon and a bag of sugar and eating it, not burning the spoon?
Can I answer that question?
You can answer it.
Right. So if we look at anything that we have, we are emotional human beings, and the majority of our food patterns are linked to childhood, which we have touched on many times before. But it's less. So you're getting two things combined here. You're getting the fact that there will be an emotional connection to some particular foods that you've been given as a child for comfort. And then you're also getting the added effect that sugar is addictive. To put that in perspective for me from a different point of view, like when I used to drink, I loved a beer. But I was like, if you gave me, it wasn't necessarily the alcohol that I was looking for, it was a taste of beer. Alcohol just fucking helped as well. Like, you couldn't just give me a pint of water and say that's 100% alcohol, drink that. Like, that's not going to do what beer did for me. In the same way, cider didn't really do that for me, nor gin did that for me. So there are particular means and emotional connections we have. I had beer because I used to drink pints with my dad watching football, and that's a feeling alongside the alcohol. Alcohol was addictive, but it was more so beer was my way of taking it. It's the same way of like what you guys, not what you guys, I have it as well, but like when it comes to like Gary and his Percy Pigs, that's not just going to be sugar, it's going to be the fact that he likes Percy Pigs, or there's an emotional connection towards that as well, if that makes sense.
But there's also fat content within these products as well, which makes it taste delicious, which makes it hyper palatable. So is it can we predominantly point at sugar and say for a fact that I'm addicted to X, Y, and Z, to a sweet treat because of the sugar? Are we just addicted to eating? Are we addicted to that response, the emotional response that we get off of it? Are we addicted to highly palatable foods? There is so much at play here. Can we really point the finger and just say, I'm addicted to sugar? Because if you were addicted to sugar, you'd be eating it straight out of the bag with a spoon. You would be addicted to fruit. Most people that are addicted to sweet treats do not eat fruit.
Me.
I would be very careful about the wording that people use around what they're saying. So, when it comes to being, if you've got somebody who's telling you they're addicted to something, they've put themselves in a box where they're then controlled by something. I think that's very difficult to break out of. I think you can certainly, and I don't want to start some woke nonsense about how we kind of take the tone of something out, but I also think that you should be able to go, I misuse these things. I don't use them in the best way. My relationship with it isn't the best at the moment. Like, I think saying all of those things, I need to kind of look at my relationship with food, with sugar, with whatever, 100%. I think there's anyone who comes in, and I question people on this when they say these things to me. I'm addicted to sugar. James Smith, actually, who coach, he was one of the first things that he kind of said was, "Oh, I've got an addiction to these, and I've got an addiction to that, and that's like crack to me." I was like, when we had a genuine conversation about like how we look at maybe taking them out, but reintroducing them over time to change the relationship and viewpoint of what he has and the belief system around it. And I think, lo and behold, he's in the best shape of his life, and now eating the things that he enjoys. It's not that he had an addiction to it as such. It's just more that we've changed his relationship and his viewpoints of what he sees it as, which is difficult to do. Easier said than done.
Almost more of like a reliance on it.
Yeah. If I was to go to that extreme, I'm addicted to caffeine. I'm addicted to Monster. I'm addicted to whatever. And at times I have in the past said those type of things. But I'm not. I can go fucking genuine days and weeks without having it if I wanted to. I can reduce. I have reduced my intake of it. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, 100%. Will I have 1 to 3 of them a day in terms of coffee or caffeine? Yeah, 100%. You try being a parent and surviving without it. Fucking good luck to you. But it's not a case where I turn around nowadays and go, I've got an addiction to them. It used to be quite trendy to say that, but I'm like, that doesn't help, because then you're at mercy of it.
Mm-hmm. I think the word trendy there is quite quite a good word to use in this situation, because I think that's another thing that's been kind of misused over the last few years, especially with all these fucking tadgers on Instagram talking about insulin spikes and all that, and pointing to the sugar and how you're addicted to sugar and how you need to cut sugar out of your life completely to see the results that you want to see and all that. Speaking of which, do you see fucking Joe Wicks is at it again?
Why did I feel like this was coming to Joe Wicks at one point?
Because he's been at it again this week. I think it might have been last week actually, but anyway, he's at it again. Sorry, Kye, what were you going to say?
Seen I had a relapse yet?
Mate, what a fucking bell end. What an absolute knob jockey. He relapsed on a packet of Jaffa cakes. Relapsed. What the fuck is he talking about? That is such a dangerous term to use with his reach of audience that he's got.
Mate, I call that Tuesdays.
You call it what?
Tuesdays. Having a packet of Jaffa cakes. I just got
Oh,
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays? Mate, I don't know why. I thought you were saying Tuities, and I'm like, what the fuck's a Tuitie?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I know I've been away for 10 years, mate, but at the same time, still got the accent.
Mate, honestly, so he was living like a no sugar lifestyle, and he smashed a packet of Jaffa cakes, and he came onto his social media and he said, I relapsed. Mate, you're not a fucking crack addict that's trying to go clean and you've relapsed by fucking hitting up. You had a packet of Jaffa cakes. Why are you still scaremongering and fearmongering around foods that are relatively okay within reason, within moderation? What, Kyle?
Like you flip the switch and you were someone that was on a really strict diet and then you relapsed with a takeaway at the weekend. Like, what? No, that's how it works.
So, welcome to the show, Nintendo 64 Shannon.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could.
Oh, have I returned?
Aye, well, your voice has returned. Your face has fucking stayed the same for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
if you.
nice.
I
If
don't.
anyone knows anyone that works in Tree, get onto them. My internet's gone shite.
Yeah, yeah, you were doing pretty well for a while, but yeah, you've kind of went. Well, yeah, I think you're back again now. That's good.
Aye. But that's a very good point that you've just raised there. If you're on a diet and you have a takeaway at the weekend, does that mean you've relapsed? It doesn't fuck. No, it doesn't. Like, why fearmonger and I'm just he pisses me off. Kyle, what you got to say on the matter?
I,
You got to block him, Gary.
uh, I struggle with these things because straight away I go, you're a knob, mate, and I don't really give it any time. And then unfortunately in the world we live in, I'm now having to deal with every fucking PT using it as reaction bait. We're like, oh, do you see what Joe Wicks used and whatever? I can't go on Instagram without seeing fucking Joe Wicks, which is also equally annoying. But I think what my issue with that is what message is Joe Wicks trying to push here? Because on one hand, I'm like, yes, we all could live without sugar and without processed food. I fucking deal. Class, great. But what benefit does that actually really bring to your life? I don't think there's a massive benefit, controversially or not. If 80% of your nutrition is whole quality plant based or meat based foods, then the other 20% can be party time. And I think that, from my eyes, is a very relatively healthy life. I would also go into it. The majority of people on this side of the world, the diet's almost reversed. 80% of it is processed shite foods, and 20% of it is healthy, like clean foods. What message does that tell those people when they're so far away from, like, their breakfast consists of, like, man, you just need to go in Aldi and see what half the fucking cereals look like. Like, you're literally talking fucking cookies for breakfast. I'm like, when they've still got people having bowls of cookies for breakfast and thinking they're doing well, like, having having one pack of Jaffa cakes in 10 days is so far away from their normality that they are just going, well, there's no chance anybody's ever fixing me, because if I can't have a packet of Jaffa cakes ever, fucked me.
Aye, which is why it's a very dangerous thing that you said, and it's a danger. It seems to me, this is my opinion, it seems to be a dangerous message that he's trying to send.
I don't being honest, I'm not trying to understand the message. I don't really want to know the message, but I'm like, I'd struggle to see from the surface level what message he's trying to push. What game is he playing? What is he trying to do here? I don't know.
He's got disordered eating patterns that stems from his childhood, where he would eat a lot of sweet treats. So now he has started to demonize sugar and, try to cut that out of his life, which fair enough. Like, if you don't want to eat sugar, if you don't want to have sugar in your life, all the power to you. But don't then start saying you're having a relapse when you slam a packet of Jaffa cakes, because it's not a relapse. It's not dangerous. It's not scary. It's a fucking Jaffa cake, which, by the way, is a cake, not a biscuit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Also, poor choice of option for your relapse. Jaffa cake.
I know he should have just went straight for the fizzy pigtails for M&S.
Absolutely not. Like that wouldn't entertain me at all. That's not good enough of a relapse, in my opinion. Go hell for leather.
I love how Shannon was saving all of our good internet to hit in with that, going, that's a waste of fucking calories, mate.
Oh, was it nice? Like, do you know what's special at the moment in McDonald's for McFlurry is? Jaffa cake. Disgusting. What the
Oh,
fuck's that about?
aye.
Rotten. Who came up with that and said this is genius?
Oh, McDonald's for you, innit?
Yeah.
Loving it.
Anyway, By the way, we actually had a topic. We've been going for about 40 minutes now.
Now, I'm going to throw out there before you start giving shade on this. Every topic you've put up so far has been Gary.
It's the Gary show.
It is the Gary show. I think every topic I've put up, we've actually got a good conversation out of it, and it's been quite educational.
Well, you're right, and who's going to doubt you on your own show, mate? But I was going to say, we've got
I feel like this is therapy for Gary. He just needs to get stuff off his chest.
That's
episode
it.
5 of Fit With Us, episode 72 of our original podcast, but also episode 2 of The Gary Show.
Yes. It's actually episode 71, but it's fine. I'll let you away with it.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Right, shall we do a few overrated, underrated?
Yes, let's go for it.
Who wants to choose first? I think I've said enough.
Oh, I see, said enough. Hold on, let's see. I'll just actually get my list up in there in front of me. Shannon, do you have the list? Do you want to go first?
I have a list, and it's going to go along with what Gary was just ranting about. So, cheat days, do they help with mental balance or sabotage progress?
So, what we should do before we start answering is just explain what the fuck we're doing.
Oh,
So, we're going to do topics. One of us is going to read out a topic, and we're all going to decide whether it's overrated or underrated, and maybe give a wee definition as to why we've said that answer.
Cool.
So, that was cheat days or cheat meals, Shannon?
yeah, cheat days, do they have mental balance or sabotage progress? Kyle.
I think they are overrated. I think simply because we're still paying the debts off of what they used to be done back in the early thousands, where people would go super clean for 6 days a week and then go absolutely fucking mental one day a week. And if the hope is that they went low enough for calories for 6 days that one day of like being an arsehole didn't actually like undo the progress. So I would say they're overrated.
I agree, overrated. In my opinion, it's just a planned binge, which is not going to help in any way, shape, or form with your relationship with food if it's already bad to start with.
I'll let you go, Shannon.
I would say the word cheat is already a negative word to be using. Now I personally don't track 7 days out of 7. I do have a day where I don't even want to say the word, I get a little bit looser. I literally just do the exact same thing, but my dinner could be a takeaway that day. And that's just the way I rock and roll. I'm back on it the following day with my fitness pal and that. But the word cheat meals, I do think it is a little bit overrated. I think it's a very toxic mentality to have because anyone that I know that has gone for a cheat meal, and I usually find with girls that come in to me and they'd be like, "Oh, do I get a cheat meal?" I'm like, "I'm gonna knock that straight out of you to begin with because we don't fucking cheat in general. Like, if you're on about cheating, I don't really want to be around you because that's a negative place to be." But their cheat meals used to look like McDonald's for breakfast, a spice bag for dinner, and then a fucking cake granny, I don't know, Berkey fucking Yoki Majoki. Like, there's no need for that amount of food. You can have those foods throughout the week as well, but you just need to be a bit smarter about it all. Fit it in.
I'm going to give context to what you've said because I think without actually the knowledge behind it, people can misuse what you have said in terms of not tracking every day of the week because you have got to the point where you understand food enough that you understand and we are measuring things around that like realistically you were only given it until such points as it wasn't earned anymore. And if other metrics in terms of your body weight, your measurements, your progress pictures, your performance, if they all started to get skewed based on the fact you were abusing that, then you wouldn't have that anymore. To give context, that I have given people like untracked day before and the complete opposites happened and we've had to take it off them going because you're not managing that well at all, and they've admitted it. Some people have like, I need to get that taken away because I actually can't handle just being left to not having tracked food. Regardless of what way we dress this up, if you're looking at fat loss, the quickest way to get to your goal is to track every day of the week, regardless if you're wanting an untracked day or not. Shannon would get to goal quicker if it was fat loss. If you're tracking every day of the week, there's no way of dressing that up.
And there's some days that we did take it off me when we were photo shoot prepping. Like, we were like, this has to go.
Yeah. But where it can help, and I'm going to throw it out there to completely, like, if you are looking at a bump in calories, or if we're looking at weekends for most people being slightly higher in calories, you can manipulate your calories so that during the week they are lower and at the weekend are higher. Or if you are, like, where a cheat meal, just to completely round the point up, a cheat meal or higher calorie meal, there is science if you have been dieting for a sustained period of time where it can actually help, like, don't want to say synthesize, I'm struggling for the word, but it can help your thyroid function and your metabolic rate, so you actually do burn calories again at a faster rate. That is, in bodybuilding terms, like once every 6 to 8 weeks and deeper into a prep. The problem is when you've got somebody who is already still having, like, going over their calories through calorie leaks during the week, that aren't accurate with their calories, they're still going on weekend binges, and then going, when am I getting a cheat day? Like, when you start actually following your fucking diet properly in the first place is when you get a cheat day. We're talking 6 to 8 weeks in, not like you can't put 6 days together. So at that point, no.
You got to earn it.
You've got to earn it, yeah.
Don't call
Right,
it
Kyle.
cheat.
Yeah, call it, yeah. If you want to call it anything, if you have
Day
been dieting
off.
for an extended period of time, just call it a refeed.
Correct.
Refeed.
Kyle, give us one.
Mobility and flexibility work.
Underrated. Massively underrated. I don't think enough of us do it, especially for joint health, especially for longevity, especially for less pain in and around your joints and around your whole body. As I said, I don't think enough of us do it. I know myself. I'll use myself as an example here. I fucking hate doing mobility and flexibility. Now, I'm very lucky that I have hypermobility, so I have. Um,
Snap.
oh, do you? So basically, hypermobility. If you grew up in the 90s, you might refer to it as double jointed. It's just more movement within the joint than the average human. So I don't need to do as much mobility work for the range of movement within that joint, but I need to do more mobility work to help me stay strong within that range of movement, because sometimes it can feel like my shoulder's about to pop. I can't lock my knees out, so sometimes it feels like my knee's going to go back the way. But for me personally, flexibility and mobility is criminally underrated. Shannon,
I would agree, and I have been very, very guilty up until this year of not doing anything, like not even a warm up before set. Sometimes, like I'm a very guilty person because I'd be like straight in, no kissing. But lo and behold, I got some injuries this year, and I'm turning 30, so I'm like, ooh, we gotta got working on this again. And so much so that I went to my physio first time ever, and she absolutely grilled me. And I was like, hmm. She was like, literally, she ended up giving me like a deep tissue massage on my quads. And she was like, have you ever like stretched? I was like, no. She was like absolutely disgusted by me. She was like, the tension in your legs. And it was actually the most painful thing in my life. So I now have mobility exercises I have to do. But like you, I am very hyper, what I call the double jointed. Always
hypermobile.
did. But if you looked at my legs, like it's very funny. Like I literally look like my legs go back always.
Yeah,
And everyone's used to point it out to me, being like, why do you lock out your knees? I'm like, that's just my natural stance.
yeah.
I don't have that bend at all. Like my legs literally look like this all the time.
I actually struggle to tense my quads because I can't lock my knees out. So when I'm tensing my quads, my knees go like they bevel back the way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can't like lock I struggle to tense my quads, is what I'm trying to say here. Kyle, what's your opinion on
Oh, I've got the mobility of a fridge, mate. So, uh, do you know what? Like, I think it depends on what you look at as like health or mobility, and that. I'm going to say it firstly. I'm going to give you an answer. I think it's underrated. I think for a lot of people, they think of like fucking just holding static stretches, and that's what they need to do. And if anything, I think holding static stretches is overrated rather than underrated. I think too many people are still the people are trying to hold static stretches and don't do any sort of strength work on top of that. So, for a joint to be strong, it needs to be stable and mobile first, and then it needs to be strengthened. So you need to combine all three. What stretching and what mobility can be is like you taking a squat to a decent depth. It can be you doing a Romanian deadlift and stretching the hamstring in a loaded position. I think not enough people do those type of exercises. Like, again, everybody hates fucking, I don't remember the last call that I've had that when you ask people what exercise they don't like, it's like, oh, I hate Bulgarian split squats. I'm like, yes, you and 10 million other people hate them as well, but they stretch your hip flexors. So those, yes, but I do think some added mobility work. I certainly haven't done enough of that in the past, and now that I'm doing a bit of CrossFit, that is getting exposed to absolute fuck. Because as much as I can move in straight lines pretty well, like anything that involves any sort of rotation or movement outside of that, I am frazzled and my joints feel it for fucking days and weeks on end after it.
Yes. So take our advice, everybody. Work
Yes.
on your mobility and your flexibility. You'll thank us later.
Correct.
Right, six-pack abs. Overrated or underrated? Having a six-pack, seeing visible abs. Talk to me.
Overrated. I like a sweet treat.
Overrated for me as well. I just don't think the sacrifice that you have to make to see visible abs is worth doing, in my opinion. I'm not vain. Vain, is that the word? Vain enough?
Yeah.
To care as much about it. Having had six-pack abs before, I genuinely needed pizza in my life, and chicken wings, and it's just not worth. As I said, in my opinion, it's not worth the sacrifice that has to be made to see visible abs, especially visible abs all year round. Kyle, you might oppose that point.
Don't actually. But I think it's great that the three of us all think they're overrated because we've all had them and know what it feels like. But
Yeah.
to someone who's not, they're like, my life
Goals.
problems would be sorted. I think everybody should get in the best shape of their life at least once and know what it feels like. And I think the opposite of not having six-pack abs is if you have a beer belly, that's probably one of the most impactful things to your health, your decision-making, and everything else. So definitely getting yourself in shape. But in terms of the level of that, the question is, do you need to get six-pack abs? And is having six-pack abs worth it? No. It's nice to say that you've done it. It's nice to see what it feels like. But in terms of the sacrifices it takes and the impact on their health and your other goals and everything else, certainly not something that I would be looking at people pursuing long term.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to do it kind of short term, just to see what it's like, see what the sacrifices are like that you have to make to get there, by all means go for it. We'll help you get there. But do not see it as a long term option, because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we quick fire round one more each?
One more each.
Shannon, let's go.
Community support in fitness, accountability and belonging as hidden superpowers. Kyle's pissing us all laughing. Friendship in fitness. Overrated, underrated. What are we saying?
Massively underrated. Community for me is a massive reason why I do what I do. The amount of people that I have in the gym, the amount of clients that I have in the gym that come back to the gym because of the community, it really helps them push themselves on to be better, to be healthier, to be happier, to be stronger, fitter. If they were to do it on their own, they probably would have given up long before now. So for me, community is massively underrated. I think it plays a huge part in people's journeys.
Kyle.
I know this is going to come across as super controversial, but I think it is the way that certain people are built or not. I'm going to say, firstly, my answer is underrated, because I do see everything it brings to biofitness. I see everything it brings to the people around, the friendships that are made. I think it's massive for people. I see, like, sure, CrossFit is as busy as it is because of the community, not much else. Running clubs are on the go. We have all of them. From a personal point of view, I actually gives me a wee bit of that. I perform a lot better by myself. I genuinely would rather do things by myself. I'm not a massive doing things with people type thing. I would happily, even in CrossFit, I'm like, if there's a class of fucking two of us, I would take that over a class of 20 of us. I'm like, people, in my opinion, I'm just like, there's too much going on. It's getting in my way. I'm just wanting to actually go and do my own shit and leave, really. But that's a me thing, 100%.
I'm going to agree with you, right? I prefer training on my own to training with other people. I think training with other people, it stresses me out, but I'm seeing it from a community aspect rather than it being a training partner aspect or working with other people in the same class, etc., etc. I think you don't need to train with other people, but if you were a member of that same community where um you'd done things together out with the gym and stuff like that, and that kind of kept you motivated, then that could be seen as a good thing. But yeah, I agree with Kyle. I prefer to train on my own. I don't like being annoyed. I don't like being rushed. I don't like being hassled. Just fucking leave me alone with my earphones if I remember them, and I'll get shit done on my own.
I'll, I'll not name who it is, but in one of the gyms I used to work in, they had a high performance unit, which was out the back. You had to rent it. It was essentially a fully equipped gym, everything you needed in there, but we could use it as staff. And then you had like the actual commercial gym, like there. The girl I worked with at the time, she always had to train at the busiest times in the commercial gym because that's what got her going. It's like speaking to people on the gym floor and doing things. I was opposite. I literally went into that high performance unit, fucking didn't speak to a soul. Literally, that was me just getting stuff done. I know the question wasn't about training alone. To give you further evidence of me not being massively into community from a personal point of view, like any mentorship and stuff that I've been part of, like see when they put me in community groups and stuff like that, I am like, I'm wanting nothing to do with this. I want to get my own shit done. I don't share anything. I don't talk to MD, which is the opposite of what I have, and I know it's big for people, but it's just for me as a personal point of view. I could take it or leave it. It's not a massive part. I think it's underrated. Not that I hate them, but for me, I don't need them, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Shannon, what's your opinion?
I would be similar in the sense that I like to train alone. I don't like this crack of jumping in and out of between sets and stuff like that. I'm like, no, it's taking up too much time. Just leave me alone to do that. But I very much need community to like get me to do things like the run club. Like the only reason I kept running was because we started the run club, and that meant like I had to commit to it. I then made friends in it, and I was like, I can't let my friends down because they love the run club as much as
Mhm.
me. Very much at the weekend crumbled because I felt so alone and isolated in the warm up room. I didn't have a community, it was just me and Kyle. And although Kyle was keeping me like on the go, I was just like, no, like I don't have my people around me. And when I don't have my people around me, I go back in myself. I don't want to do the thing. So I very much like when I first came to biofitness all them years ago, it was a solo journey. And I was like, I'm only going to be here for 12 weeks and then I'll tip on. Like, but the community kept me then.
Yeah,
Like I met the people and I was like, no, like I think I found my kind of people that like make me feel better about myself. So
I
community
love
is
that.
really, really important to me.
Yeah.
And we only discovered that at the weekend, really and truly, when I crumbled.
Well, firstly, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody but you, Shannon. So,
I talk about friendship all the time, but I didn't realize how much it meant to me.
yeah, I'm surprised you felt lonely in the warm up room, considering you were never fucking there. It was a game of where Shannon over the weekend because Shannon was where's she gone
Running away.
out vaping. Um, and but
And the
yeah,
laughing part is no memory of doing it. No memory of leaving the warm up.
I think you're in that warm up room for about 5 minutes in total.
Warmed up and left.
Um,
Done a few shrugs away. Right, Kyle, give us one.
uh, let me see. 10,000 steps.
Ah, fucking overrated as fuck. A lot of people think 10,000 steps is the magic number. It's not. Um, whilst the steps themselves are underrated, I think the number 10,000 steps is massively overrated. It's just an arbitrary number. It doesn't really mean things. It could be unrealistic for some people, especially office workers, desk workers. Me on a Monday, I was less than 5,000 steps Monday just there because I was sitting at my desk all day. It's not a magic number. You can shove the 10,000 up your ass. Yeah, sorry. Quite a long-winded answer there for me just to say overrated.
Shannon?
I would agree. It's a little bit overrated now. I think it's a good gauger to work towards, but definitely not for like someone who is generally just starting off on a fitness journey. That would be the most overwhelming thing in the world. It's a gauger for me at this point because I can easily hit the 10,000 without realizing I'm doing that. But it doesn't mean that like magically I'm the queen of fitness because I've had 10,000 steps every single day. Like some days I do have lower, some days I have more. I think just trying to get up and moving more daily is a better approach than just thinking you're going to be unreal at steps if you hit 10,000 every single day.
Being honest, my gut reaction is to say it's overrated, but then there's a part of me that wants to argue and go,
Shocker.
no, I know, but like, see if you've got somebody who's an office worker that's doing 2,000 steps a day, right? They are probably burning fucking 100 calories, like at best. You do 10,000 steps, you're burning possibly 500 calories. There's a difference of 400 calories a day at that point. Like, for anybody, that is decent. And actually, if we look at it as it's just a calorie multiplier, 100%. My issue comes when people start thinking in absolutes as if they're getting 9,000 steps a day, but because they're not getting 10,000, it's like they're not doing well. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about having a number that's higher than what you're doing in the first place so that you're moving. But in terms of actual 10,000 steps as a number, it's an absolute fucking nonsense number that was made up, and it's not. It doesn't actually mean anything other than the fact I think it was made up to sell Japanese watches at one point.
For the Olympics.
I don't know if it's yeah, possibly, but I know it was just some Japanese company made it up. To give the last part of research in there, the health benefits of steps scientifically have been shown to tap out at 8,000. Like 8,000 for most people is where health benefits, blood circulation, lymphatic, like your heart, that's where the health benefits are. So if you are looking for a number, it's not 10,000, it's 8,000. You can quote me. But yeah, I was going to say anything above 8,000, really, you're just using for expenditure. I think there's no major difference health wise between 8,000 and 14,000 steps.
Reach.
Yep.
Right, final one.
Is it
Actually,
me?
a good one. No, it's
Yeah.
me.
You've had your
Yeah,
turn. Wind your neck in there.
I just want to be a part of the group.
Well, you can answer this first then.
Okay.
Eating enough carbs, underrated or overrated?
Underrated. I think we've gone the polar opposite at this point where people are absolutely terrified of carbs, and I'm like, no, there is absolutely no need. It gives you energy. Like it's actually very important. Um, but then you have the opposite side of it where girl dinner is literally only carbs. It's my favorite kind of dinner. It's just carbohydrates galore. Full loaf of garlic bread, please and thank you. But yeah, I think a lot of people aren't using carbs to their full advantage when they should be. And they need to stop being scared of it because a piece of bread isn't going to make you fat.
Reach, Kyle.
Come back to
He
me.
wants to fight me.
You can come back to me. You go first.
Um, I would agree with Shannon that they are underrated. Too many people have been scared off by them. People think you need to cut out carbs to lose body fat. People seem to think you need to cut out carbs to be lean, to get lean. Carbs at the end of the day are your body's main fuel source. If you're not fueling your body correctly, you're not going to perform to the best of your ability. Um, you've probably heard the analogy of the sports car before. Your body's a sports car. If you fill that with the wrong fuel or not enough fuel, you're not going to be able to get from A to B. The car's going to run out of fuel. You're going to break down. Just the exact same way your body will break down if you don't fuel it properly. Don't be scared of carbs. Just utilize them correctly. Not there isn't any bad carbs. Again, if you stick with the 80-20, like Kyle mentioned earlier, 20% of that of your kind of
Party food.
overall diet, yeah, party time, you can pretty much have your big fucking slab of garlic bread if you want. It's uh, nobody got fat. Nobody in the history of forever got fat by eating a bit of fucking bread one time or correctly.
Once a day.
Kyle, I think you've got a counterpoint here.
No, no counterpoint. I was actually just needed some time to digest what was being said because there's so many different ways that I'm conscious I don't want to do a rant. I think it was a revelation to me the first time I counted calories. Because actually one of the beliefs that I used to be against was that I thought counting calories was restrictive. Hold my hands up, Kyle Watson, back in 2019, 6 years into being a PT, whatever it was, still actually thought that it's fucking 8 years into being a PT, that's bad. But still actually thought that counting calories was restrictive. And a revelation to me when I did start counting calories. At first I was very apprehensive about adding carbs because I actually did have a deeper lying belief that they were, don't want to say useless, but see when I see people eating, like Shannon said, like fucking girl dinners with just carbs, I'm like, what are you doing? Where's the protein? Like, that's just, for me, it's a very unfunctional dinner and also tends to make you feel like shit after because your blood sugars go up then straight back down again. With that said, when I started counting calories, I got in the best shape that I've been and I was having more carbs than I've ever had in my life. I was having fucking bags of rice. I was having bagels. I was having potatoes. I was having all sorts. So in terms of like managing calories, providing it's within the laws of like if you're looking at losing body fat, a calorie deficit, if you're looking at maintenance, as long as it's within your calories, whatever, then it'll do exactly what you want it to in terms of giving you energy, and it also tastes good as well because it flavors your food. Carbohydrates taste good, your body likes them, an energy source, you perform better, you look better. The problem is most people mismanage carbs, and they don't have a clue as to how many, because carbs you can they can be quite dense in the sense that like if you have a pasta and it's mixed with a sauce and then an oil, like all of a sudden you're talking 1,400 calories, and at that point it's like, well, people did get fat eating pasta, mate. So like it's just a case of making sure you manage them more so than that.
Yeah, 100%. Don't be scared of them. Manage them correctly. Use them to your advantage to fuel your workouts, your training, your exercise, and I guarantee you'll see big, big results.
I have a question for you.
Cool.
Well, it's actually a two-part question.
Well, get it out before you turn into a Nintendo 64 character again.
What, in your eyes, is a girl's dinner?
I've never heard the term girls' dinner before, so I'm going to let Kyle answer.
I'm going to be honest, Shannon, I'm not far off. I just used the quote that you used, but I'm assuming it's something that's like I imagine very basic fucking pasta, like you know that like the cheesy pasta that you used to get in the packets, or it's like for me, I'm picturing like this is probably going to sound really stereotypical. And I'm digging myself a hole here, but I'm assuming it's like at the time of month when your cravings are high and you just kind of lean into the kind of carbs and stuff that you actually want, and it's easy, it's quick, and it tastes good. Might be right, might be wrong.
Pretty much nail on the head. Like, girl dinner is just like whatever the fuck you really enjoy, usually carb dense, usually time of the month. And it could be just like goujons and chips, like it can be nuggets and chips. It can just be the simplest dinner, but it's just calorie dense. It's amazing. But my
Rachel's.
question then is because Adam
Oh,
always judges my girl dinner life when I'd be like, oh, I'd be craving this. He'd be like, the fuck's that about? And I'm like, nah, like, I want my girl dinner. What's a boy dinner?
steak. Right off the side of a cow, straight onto the plate, not even cooked. No, a boy dinner. Again,
What's something you'd be like, yeah, give me that now?
uh, pizza.
Pizza.
But that's my answer. Like I wouldn't. I don't know. It's a tough question. I think Rachel's kind of girl dinner right now. The phase is cheesy beanos. So beans on
Yeah.
toast, cheese, wee egg on top there. Quite calorie dense, quite high in fiber. Um, I don't know. Macaroni cheese as well would be Rachel's one.
Yeah, that is a girl dinner there.
Macaroni
Good
cheese.
choice.
But for me, boy dinner, yeah, I don't know. Kyle's been thinking about the answer for about 3.5 minutes now. I
A
genuinely
meaty
can't.
pizza or something for you.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know.
I'm fine about the answer because I'm more so thinking about, well, boy dinners don't really exist, but I'm trying to think about why female dinners or girl dinners do. But the reason
Oh no,
that
boy dinners exist. You
they
just
don't,
don't. You aren't aware that you do it.
no,
Nah.
Shannon, they don't. Uh,
I'm using Adam as my example now because when Adam put this dinner together, I looked and I go, "The fuck is that?" And he was like,
Talk me through it.
can I throw in before you explain it? This is like
"Yeah,
Adam thing rather than a boy thing, but just go ahead.
go ahead." So it was in his bulk phase. May we add, full bag of Mexican rice, 2 fried eggs, and a steak. To me, that's a boy dinner. Who the fuck's making that?
That just sounds like a steak stir fry with some eggs on top.
No, that would not appeal to me in the slightest.
Okay, can I give you my answer as to why
Yeah.
boy dinners don't exist, right? So if we look at girl dinners being time in the month, cravings, something that you're really after at the time that meets a need. Men do not have the same hormonal cycles that women have. So what you might want on the 19th of the month on a random Tuesday will be very different to what you want on the fucking 26th of the month on a Thursday, right? That's going to be dictated by your hormones. Men and most men don't typically have those hormone swings. So I'm not saying men's food, I don't want this to be conflated as men's food choices are better because they're absolutely fucking not. I work with enough men to realise they eat like fucking children. They don't. But in terms of like sporadic, I'm really craving this and want this, that tends to happen with women at time of the month. And the reason that men don't have those, I'm going to just all of a sudden open up a fucking pasta, cheese, and whatever on top of it. And it's less likely is because we don't have them. It's not to say that they don't do things like that, but it's more so born out of the emotional connection they have with food. And that's a deeper lying thing than it does just hormonal changes.
I'm just going to argue back and say I feel like boy dinner is just meat. That's all it is. Just heaps of protein.
Shannon, is it your time of the month right now? You've
I
been
don't
very
get one.
argument-
I'm on the mini pill, lads.
Just shut me right up, didn't it?
Harry, I was going to say, be careful what you say, or you get us cancelled.
I just be flowing about life. That's it, though.
I do notice, and I think it comes from our, how do you say this, ancestors and stuff, that men do have a higher correlation of wanting to eat meat and protein that way than females do. But if I was to make a guess, it's probably because females at some point need to protect a baby and need to like preserve themselves that way, and there's a higher chance of them getting infections and illness from eating meat than there is plant-based or grain-based stuff.
Plant-based.
That's going to be my question today. What is boy dinner?
Yeah. Get it on Instagram.
I'm doing my research.
Get it on Instagram.
Well, as long as you have it in the options, you open it up and go, this is a question, but also the option is there is no fucking boy dinner, because that also could exist. There is no boy dinner.
No, there is a boy dinner.
If you're listening and if you made it this far, please comment below what your boy dinner is or what your girl dinner is. You can do it in Spotify, you can do it on YouTube, whatever you want.
Yeah, okay. See whenever you put down what your boy dinner is, can you just also put when you're menstruating as well down?
Shut up. Kyle, you had steak, rice, and I think it was blue cheese sauce one day. That to me is a boy dinner.
That's just a steak and rice.
It's a
boy dinner.
I just call that dinner.
That's just dinner. It's just a Tuesday, Kyle.
It's a Tuesday. I'm going to get on my Instagram and go, I relapsed. I had another steak.
That's it. Open up another can of worms. Right, team.
I had a full fat garlic bread instead of the reduced fat one.
Shannon, where can they find you?
Shan_biofitness, 2 N's in the Shan.
Two S's in the biofitness. Gary, where can they find you?
Gary_biofitness, 1 R in the Gary.
Kyle _biofitness, 1_.
Excellent. I'll put all the direct links to the pages in the show notes. Thank you, Dave and Toby, for the music. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and see you all in the next one.
Bye.